Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Shailesh Mehta School of Management, IIT Bombay, I, Shohini,
and I, Aniket,
would like to welcome you all to Alankar, the Global Leadership Summit for 2019.
Avenues is the International Business Festival of IIT Bombay organized by Shailesh Mehta School of Management. It consists of a medley of management events targeted at the future managers, and management students and scholars across the globe participate in this extravaganza which combines learning with fun. We at IIT Bombay believe that there is no mountain too high or a challenge too scary that can't be scaled and one through sheer hard work and penchant for having faith in our dreams. Keeping in line with this belief, this year our theme for Avenues is Gambit, Grit and Glory.
Alankar. The Distinguished Leadership Summit is a 3-day event organized at Avenues that aims to take the students on a journey across a myriad landscape of knowledge and fun. We take this opportunity to invite dignitaries from various industries and academia to enlighten us by sharing their valuable experiences and the inspiring journey of their success. As part of this Alankar series, we have an exciting lineup this year. Today, we have with us someone who has changed the skyline of Mumbai. Under his astute leadership, the Hiranandani Group has set a benchmark for quality construction and holistic development and has diversified into education, healthcare, hospitality and entertainment. One of India's top 10 builders, he is regarded as a real estate visionary. So ladies and gentlemen, please give a huge round of applause for the builder extraordinaire, Dr. Niranjan Hiranandani. Who is a member of the Alankar team, to welcome sir with a bouquet. We have another short video for the same.
Everybody, and I'm so happy that people have woken up on Sunday morning and come over here. So that's why I'm very delighted to shake everybody's hand, simply because I thought that's something which students don't do. So first of all, congratulations to each and every one of you for really standing up on Sunday morning and being over here to listen to talks. You have a lot of other people, and Mr. Suresh Prabhu, a very good friend of mine and a leading luminary in terms of what he has done into various aspects of society, and was also a minister in the earlier cabinet of the Prime Minister Modi, and has done a wonderful job, has a very great experience. So really you're going to learn a lot from him. This morning I was just wondering what really I could share with you. And the very fact that questions that I got in the morning, and also the fact that you talked about what you want to aspire for, and what is the kind of thing, aspiration that each one of you are wanting to reach on, is actually very, very positive. And I think that is what India really needs. And this is what something should come from the heart. But when you work on an idea, and all of us do have aspirations in life, have a goal in life, have a thing that you aspire for, I'm going to share some ideas and thoughts which I have learned through experience of myself and also mentors of mine who have taught me so much over a period of time that I find that there are many, many very simple steps to become very highly successful. So, you know, those shortcut notes to success, some of those ideas and thoughts I'm going to share with you. And the idea basically being is that when I was young, nobody told me all these things. I would have been far more successful if I had already been taught what I'm trying to share with you today. The idea was that over a period of time, not only do you get information, which is available on Google, knowledge that you pick up when you come to institutions like you are here in the management school, or in terms of the technology that you get from IIT, for those people who are who are studying into IIT, you've already got a knowledge base which is there. So you're moved from pure information, which I think you all understand what I'm talking about, which is easily available on the net, and you don't need to today memorize all that domain knowledge as far as that is concerned. But you have to convert that into a knowledge base that becomes extremely important, and then using that knowledge base to become successful in our lives. And that's why it's extremely important. And I'm going to share with you some of the stories, including my own. And I want to first start with the story of Hiranandani Gardens, which is just across the road from here. Has anybody, because all of you students are new, have you been to Hiranandani Gardens across the road? Yes. Yeah? Oh wow, thank you. So it's damn good, but let me explain to you. This story is 30 years old, and I was not in Powai. I was in a place called Warsaw, and I was making buildings after buildings, one building at a time. I didn't have the money to build 11 buildings together. Today I can build 200 buildings together, and I have no problem to do so. In those days, I had money to just buy a plot of land for one building, which I did in Warsaw, made a nice building, completed it. And when I completed a nice building, which was very nice, according to the circumstances of those days, I went on the top of the building and looked around. And I was so dejected. Why was I dejected? Because the approach road to the project was horrible. The streets were very narrow. There were no proper street lights. There was not a proper sewage system that was functioning. The water mains were small and not adequate for the project site over there. If you had to reach a hospital or a school, it was miles away, and there was nothing at the end of the day. And this horrific story of mine got repeated every time I built a new building. But I didn't have the scope. I was not very wealthy. I didn't have the resources. I didn't have the thought. But there was a subconscious thing in my mind. So when you determine a goal, you want to see that all this should become beautiful. But I couldn't buy those lands over there to make all the surroundings, nor did I have the wherewithal to do it. But it was an aspiration in my mind that I shall one day make it such that when I complete a building which is beautiful, and I looked out of the window, it would have all these facilities which I would like to create. So I came to a place called Powai and saw this land. It was far away from the madding crowd. There was a 2-lane road from Sakinaka and a 1.5-lane road from Kanjurmarg, which existed in those days. And this was a place where the owners wanted to sell the land, but nobody wanted to buy it. They'd been to every conceivable developer in the city to beg of them to buy the lands. And there were a lot of legal complications with the property, etc. And I looked at the property. It was a quarry land. It was a horrible piece of land in terms of the raw material which was available. But I had a dream. I had a dream that I would make a complete project which not only will have the pretty buildings that I was already making in Warsaw, and I had made one on Warsaw on the beach called Beach Classic for those who come from the city, and I thought I was very happy about it. But now was my new dream. So I got into this property, paid a deposit. I didn't have all the monies which was there for buying such a large piece of land. So I got installments because nobody else wanted to buy this property. And over a period of time, that's how the dream became true. So we not only made buildings which were residential, but we also made a school. We not only made the school, we also made the hospital. We not only made the hospital, we made the retail. In those days, I also made a go-karting track, and there was a video game parlor over there that was also run by me. We set up a supermarket, which is Heiko, which still exists and belongs to us. We put up a hotel, which is Melua, which belongs to us. This was the first time we made roads with sewer lines pre-laid, water mains pre-laid, We did ducting for those days telephones. There was no internet connectivity, but we did ducting for telephones. And we made first concrete roads in a private layout ever in the city of Mumbai. So I dreamt all this. We have got 30 acres of gardens and forests within the complex over there. And this was the first time a private developer. We also have a hill on the top, which is on the other side of the hill of Powai, on the Vikhroli side, where I have developed a 25-acre forest. And if anybody wants to go hiking over there, we don't allow you to go, but as a special permission for you if you all want to go up hiking, and you can sometimes meet a leopard on that hill also. We have a 25-acre forest over there, which is just on the park, behind the Parkside colony, which we did. So what was it that really came true? Was it possible or thought process? Did I really think that I would make the entirety of Hiranandani Gardens at the first instance? No, it was just a dream because I was disappointed with whatever I had in Versova. So there was a thought process. So I aspired in my mind to create a bigger picture for myself, and we did this. And ultimately what you're seeing today is a development of last 30 years, what has come up of Hiranandani Gardens. And we have probably won the highest amount of national and international awards, both for the buildings, for the layout, for the infrastructure. We have the largest sewage recycling plant in Mumbai city. We recycle 4 million liters of sewage every single day. And we are doing this for the last 20 years. And the entire city of Mumbai does not recycle 4 million liters, while our company alone recycles 4 million liters of sewage every single day. The city unfortunately puts shit into the sea, so that's a terrible thing happening. But now I'm told that they are going to follow the practice which we have been following for the last 20 years to recycle the entire sewage for the city of Mumbai, and that's going to make a world of a difference to do whatever we want. So that was the first thought, and I gave you my own example. But there are plenty of such examples that you can think of. Let's look at the case of Mukesh Ambani. Mukesh Ambani was told by his father, Dhirubhai Ambani, as to what is it that you can do for telecom. And at that point of time, when the discussion took place between father and son, Dhirubhai Ambani and Mukesh Ambani, the cost of a mobile phone talk was 33 rupees a minute. Both the caller and the callee were both required to pay half this amount. So it was, I think, 16 rupees 50 paisa each side had to pay for a minute call, and it was terribly expensive and unbelievable. So Mr. Dhirubhai Ambani mentioned it to his son that the cost of the mobile connectivity should be brought down to the cost of a postcard, which means at that point of time, the postcard cost was 1 rupee a minute. So there was an aspiration model, and the technology cost was so high that nobody could have dreamt that this was possible. But Mr. Ambani had a dream, and this was put across to his son, Mukesh, and he now has come across the situation where the cost of calling today is less than 1 rupee a minute. So can you imagine that at a time when this happened, there was no possibility of even dreaming that such a thing could have been possible. And today, we all have a lot of data which is passed on, and the cost of data is so low. Forget the cost of making mobile calls, which is almost free today. So we have the issue of the story of how we need to think through. So what is the secret difference between an aspiration model, which is, I want to make a lot of money? That could be an aspiration model. And that doesn't work in reality. That doesn't work because money is an important factor, but it is not the factor in order to work out a project or a direction. What is the first word you used out of the three?
Gambit.
Gambit. So the gambit cannot be only I want to make money. That cannot be the gambit. The gambit has to be something much higher than that. Of course you need money, just like you need air to breathe and food to eat. You also need money. But money is not the only factor. And as students in IIT and the School of Management that you are in, know very well that today people are willing to give millions of dollars to startups. So money is not the factor only for the purposes of targeting a gambit. The gambit has to be far superior to the fact that it is only a target to make money. Yes, we all want to make money. I want to make money. You want to make money. Everybody wants to make money. But if you want to be really successful in life, your project thought process has to be superior than just the objective of making money. And today I made money in A, tomorrow I made money in B, third I made money in C, fourth day I made money in D. You will be a nobody as far as the end of the day. You may have a lot of money at the end of the day, but that's not the real success of people. All the successful people in life have had a gambit which is not a pure money gambit. It has to be far more superior to that. And I'm going to share with you why this is important. It is important because there is going to be a lot of changes which take place in the environment. The environment on the external side always changes. So if I have a gambit in terms of saying that I want to make good projects, like I've made Hiranandani Gardens, today I got 5 projects to do. So I've got a project in Thane called the Hiranandani Estate. I've got a project in Panvel, which is Hiranandani Fortune City. I've got a project in Chennai, which is Hiranandani Gardens. I've got a project going to come up in Alibag very soon. We are starting, which is Hiranandani Sands. Now, if it was only making money, I'm already in the Forbes list of made money. There would be no good reason to take another project and say I still want to make more money, because my needs of money are actually satiated. And my wife says she doesn't want to buy any more diamonds, so the rest doesn't cost so much. So I'm very fortunate that she's kind of satiated after all these years, and in fact she tells me, why do you need so many things and things that you keep buying over here today? And that's why there is a huge amount of difference between what we want to do. But I wanted to come to a second point which I wanted to share with you. And the second point is the ability to be able to change your targets and aspirations. For example, let's take my own company. We've been into the real estate residential field. But we found that over a period of time there was a good need for commercial. So we built commercial space. We built the IT space. We built the retail space. We are now setting up data centers which are coming up, and by March of next year we will have built the largest data center in India in Panvel, and it will be the fastest set up data center anywhere in the world. We will be doing it in less than 9 months, which is the fastest set up data center in the entire universe. It never happened so fast before, and we will be doing it. There's another change which our company has done, which is we are setting up a platform for industrial and warehousing. This is coming up on 250 acres in Pune, 100 acres in Chennai, and 77 acres in Nasik. Because the change which took place because of GST and Octroi and other things gave us a second opportunity to change. There's a third change which we have done in the last 1 year, which is the Alibag property. Because a RoRo connectivity is coming to Alibag, we have decided to put up a new project which we have designed, which will have in Alibag ultimately 7 hotels. The total number of hotels in Alibag 5-star is only 1 in the last 70 years. We plan in the next 7 years to put up 7 hotels just in one project site. We want to put up a marina, we want to put up a jetty, we want to put up residential, commercial, retail, everything, another township in there. So what is it that really is important to understand? That even if you are very successful, which I consider myself reasonably successful to be in my life, I still have to do new things and change according to the situation. Let me again go back to the company called Reliance. 35 years ago, Reliance was only Vimal fabrics, which meant that 99% of the profits made by Reliance Industries was relating to fabrics, which is Vimal fabrics. So the bottom line of the company was, the profitability of the company was 99% of the profits of Reliance was from Vimal fabrics. Can you make a guess, any one of you? I'd like to hear a couple of hands put up and make random guesses. What is the percentage of textiles as an income, as the percentage of total income of Reliance today, 35 years now? How much? 2 to 5%. Any other guesses?
1 to 2%.
1 to 2%. Any third guess?
Less than 1%.
Less than 1%. Any other guesses? The third one is right. It's less than 1%. So what is the secret? The secret is that it doesn't matter how successful you are, if you think you can stick to the same method of working without doing any changes in your life, even when you are the most successful, prosperous and richest company in the country, you have to learn to change. You have to learn to innovate. You have to be different. You have to improve. And you have to completely improve yourself to do what is better than what you did yesterday. So what is it that really teaches us from the explanations that I have given or the examples that I have set for you, whether it's my own company or a company called Reliance? It means very clearly that the environment of economics, the environment of finance, the opportunities of today, the opportunities the host yesterday are going to change. No matter what, the new opportunities come, that even after 40 years of doing business, I have to create not only more of what I already have, which is residential and commercial, but I have to now think of new lines of business, which is data centers, warehousing, industrial townships, which we are going to do. If I want to continue to grow, if I want to be satiated with whatever I have, I can stop over here and say, I'm not going to take up any change what is done. So what is it that we learn from these two stories? We learn that if you want to grow in your life, which I'm sure you'll all aspire to do, you have to learn to change very quickly, depending on what the environment is. So, today what do? The Prime Minister says that there is a target to create affordable housing for all by the year 2022. What do I learn from it? I learn that if I focus on affordable housing, there will be a bigger opportunity to do it, and government will give me a lot of benefits for the purposes of doing affordable housing. They brought GST down from 12% to 1%. The stamp duty is brought down from 6% to 1,000 rupees alone. There's an interest subvention of 3%. So the direction in affordable housing is the direction and the way to go. So that's the change which is required, because the Prime Minister has given a direction of affordable housing to be taken as a focus of in the next couple of years. That is the change that we've got to do. But let me just not stick to the general perceptions of the directions that we need to do. What do I and you need to do in terms of what we do, in terms of what I do, and what is the thing that you do as a student and you will do when you move out into the external world? And that's the secret with all successful people follow all their lives. So whether it is Mukesh Ambani, whether it's Dhirubhai Ambani, whether it's Trump, or it is any other successful person, it could be Abdul Kalam, whose example I will give you a little later. All of them have one thing in common. one thing in common. It's the bottom line of their successful story. And the bottom line is, they will improve themselves 1% every single day of their lives. They will never, never, ever be stagnant. So whether it is a Dhirubhai Ambani who was there, who is no more, improved himself every single day. There is no other way to do it. And you don't have to take 100 steps. I took 30 years to reach where I have, but I promised myself that I have to take one better step every day. And I'm going to, for the sake of repetition, and some of the people who may have heard my earlier lecture over here, repeat something which will explain to you that it is not an issue of what you want to do, but how it's an attitude of mind which makes you improve or not improve. It's a very simple story that I'll give you. And it's repeated. You'll hear it on the internet if you go on it, but I'm just going to repeat it for you again because it's relevant to what you want to understand. And the story is like this. Age 48, Niranjan Hiranandani went to his alma mater school, Campion, to do an old boys run at 48. Now I'm 69. And I ran 20 meters, and at the end of running 20 meters, I was exhausted. I got petrified because I was a workaholic. I had to set up my business. I'm a first generation businessman. And I only knew how to do my work, but I never exercised. Didn't have the time to exercise. I worked from morning 7 to night 10, 11 on an average. Hardly got any holidays in the earlier days of my life. But, well, it was worth the while. But I was petrified. I thought I was going to die by the time I'm 60. I'm still 69 and alive. But what happened? What was the change that I did? I joined the gym and I said, no, I'm going to really put up my muscle and get it back. Let's do a fast forward to age 69, back again from age 48 when I couldn't run 20 meters. Today, I exercise 1 hour every 3 days a week in the gym. I yoga 2 days a week, 1 hour for yoga, so twice a week. And I run 5 kilometers every week, regularly once a week. And I can do that. What I wanted to point out here, with this repetitive second time that I have given this story at IIT campus, is the fact that if you learn on the worst thing that you are, which you may not be, let's say you're at the bottom of the class, and you're the last student over there, or you are the last entry into the business of business and there are 5,000 people before you. It doesn't matter. Because nobody improves 1% every day. And if you improve 1% every day, you will be 365 times better at the end of 1 year. And remember, it's a compound improvement. I'm just counting the simple improvement that takes place. So you'll be close to 3.5 times better than you were at year end 1 if you improve yourself, whatever it is. And it doesn't matter what you're doing. You could be acting, you could be manufacturing, you could be doing your finance business, you could be managing a factory, you can bring about efficiency in terms of cost control, you can do to improve the quality of the product, you can help for the purposes of marketing. It doesn't matter what field you are in, and it doesn't matter where you are. So I could be at 0, I could be at 50, I could be at 75, and I could even be 100. But even if I'm 100, if I improve myself 1% every day from the level of 100, I will not be 100, I'll be 365 at the end of the year, while the rest of the people will just reach 100. So it doesn't matter where you are, the important part is that you have to learn to improve every single aspect of your life, and it doesn't matter what it is. If it is caring for your parents, whether it is loving your girlfriend, boyfriend, whether it is doing your studies, whether it is getting into a job, whether it is creating a product, whether it is anything that I'm talking in life, it doesn't matter what it is. Can I do that better the next time that I take up that activity? And it doesn't matter what that activity is. It doesn't matter if it is not in the realm of work and business. It can be in personal life, it can be in relationships, it can be anything in the world. And it is not competing with somebody else. Because what is the improvement taking place? This student, he is cleverer than me. Okay? So I'm in competition with him to stand first or to excel him in my examination. It doesn't help because I can excel him or I may not excel him. It doesn't matter. But if I am below him, I have an opportunity to improve myself every day. And if I improve myself every day, I will far exceed him in a couple of years, because if he's on top, he will be satiated. He'll be happy where it is. And this is exactly what happened to all the telecom companies. They were making a lot of profits. But when Mr. Ambani came into the picture, he was never satisfied to compete with the other people and match them. He just said, I will be better than myself every single day. So I will excel not only technology in the thing, but in the entire world. So this is something which is extremely important to do. I'm also going to relate to technology. And this is extremely important because you're sitting in the campus of IIT. And it's extremely important for management students to understand that technology has made a lot of difference in doing what it is. What does it really mean? It means that if you have a thought process and you have any constraints in life, if you really get after it, you can actually achieve it. There is a second example which I can give you of that. This was my own son. Let me give you an example of the missile man of India, late President Abdul Kalam. He came from a family which almost became bankrupt, and then he got into science, he got into research, and then he joined a research organization for the government of India, and he was put into the missile and the space program which he did. He had a huge constraint. And you know what was the constraint? The constraint was that whatever was done by NASA, which was, I don't remember the exact figures, let's say it was 100,000 crores, $100 billion, I have no idea about the amount of money. Government of India told him that we can only budget 10% of the amount. To do the same program, which cost 100, Mr. Abdul Kalam, President Abdul Kalam, required to do it in 10. This was impossible. And we all think these are impossible targets. We all disbelieve that this is possible. We all think that Mr. Ambani cannot do it. We all believe that Abdul Kalam could not do it. He did it in 12% of the cost which NASA spends on the spacecraft and missile technology. He spent just 12% of what NASA spent. Please give him a big applause. So when you really sit down and people tell me, oh, I don't have the capacity to do it. I don't have the money to do it. This guy has much more money than me, that's why he's able to do it. This fellow can do it because, he has this advantage. Oh, he's more brainy than me, that's why he can do it. All this is bullshitting. This is starting with the belief that I don't want to do it. Because the day you decide that I want to do it, you can do it. And the constraints will actually fall away. But the constraints don't fall away simply by desiring it. What do we have to do? And now I'm going to teach you the next trick of what needs to be done in order to make it in. The secret is that you take the first step. So anything you want to do which looks impossible, start the first step in that direction. If you want to learn a new skill, don't hesitate to get into it. You can take one step in that direction and do it. But the moment you dream of something, but don't take the first step, then it never happens. So whether it is Mr. Ambani, whether it is Niranjan, whether it is my son Darshan, whether it is Rocket Man, it doesn't matter who you are or what the objective is. All these people who dream don't just dream. They take the first step into the impossible direction. So the secret is, start the first step. Get into the gym. Start joining the gym. Start reducing weight. Let me tell you my failure. 4 years ago, I was 87 kilos. And on the 14th of May this year, I was 87 kilos. But I always desired in the last 4 years, and my doctor advised me that I should lose 6 to 7 kilos of weight. And I always dreamt in the last 7 years, or 4 years, 5 years, that I will lose this weight. So one day I would, eat little less and something like that. But actually, that Indian psyche of chalta hai, ho jayega, kal karenge, nahi karenge, ye karenge, wo karenge, falana, tikna, nothing doing. And nothing happened. So Niranjan Hiranandani's promise, dream of losing 7 kilos was a dream. So what is it that I have done? What is Niranjan Hiranandani? Am I competing with any other builder in Mumbai? The answer is no. I am my own competition. Niranjan Hiranandani is competition of the Niranjan Hiranandani of yesterday. I gave a lecture in IIT last year in this campus. I had almost 1,000 students in that class at that point of time, and I spoke over there. My idea is that can I convey a better lesson to you than the lesson I spoke last year in IIT? I spoke last week in VGTI. Can I give a better lecture today than I gave a lecture there? I made a good building last year. I made a fast building last year. I made a quality building last year. Can I make a better building this year than I made last year? Is it better than Mr. Rahija's building? Is it better than Mr. Loda's building? Is it better than XYZ building in Dubai? Is it better than Y building? The answer is no. But I learn from every building made by everybody else. So I will learn from what is made in the best of the world. I will learn the best of technology. I will emulate and have mentors who are part of my industry or out of my industry. So I will always be mentored by good people, and you are being mentored by so many good people who are coming to lecture to you. And you are being mentored. But they are not my competition. The competition is only me. Because today they may be above me. But if suppose tomorrow I reach that level, then what happens? I'll be stagnant. I'm over. I don't think like that. I will continue as long as God gives me health and I don't get mentally down. I will continue to do my story. And there is no end of learning. I learn every single day from students, from people, from interaction, from mentors, from books, from technology, from YouTube, from internets and other things. There is a possibility for each of us to be a learner all your life. I learned at the age of 48 how to improve my health. Other people have learned at different ages and things like that which happen. So it's extremely important to do it. There are other thought processes I'm going to share with you. You don't have to take it seriously, but let me tell you that they will be helpful. One is, get involved passionately. You're looking at a girl, you love her, and you have a passion for her. Or a girl looks at a boy and feels passionate. That kind of feeling is there. It comes to you naturally. It's part of our hormones which does it. All your life, you need to do all the things that you take up as passionately. If you can do that, that itself is a big successful story. If you tell yourself, I will win her, I will do this project, I want to do it, I will lose my weight, I must make a telephone call costing less than a postcard. I shall make a rocket which is cheaper than NASA can make it. You have to have it, and it should come from a passion and desire, not from a superficial thought process because somebody has told you as far as that is concerned. I already told you that you need to do stuff which is important. Let me also share with you what really happens in terms of at the student level that we do. When you study subjects, there will be subjects which you are very fond of, and there will be subjects which you are not fond of. It's natural. Nobody can be fond of every possible subject which is there. And the funny part is that how do you take up that subject? Because whenever you pick up a book which you don't like, or the subject that you don't like, you're tired, you've got a headache, something else is more important, you go on the internet, you do this, that and the other, and that particular subject will actually do badly. Not because it is otherwise difficult, but it's just not you. I mean, that subject doesn't nail into it. So what do we do in business? What do we do in life? Because there's never possibility when everything that I have to do has to be liked. And that is the next step that we need to do, that irrespective of how we like or don't like a thing, do one page at a time. Secret is, every time you read the things which you love to read, or you have to read, or what you do, you make it a point from day one to pick up the subject that you don't like or you hate, which you will never be able to do well, and try to read one page of it every single day. So something which I don't like to do, like exercise, I did not like to do at that point of time, I made it a point to do it every single day. What did Mr. Ambani do? He focused on what was difficult, which was to bring the cost down from 33 rupees a minute to less than 1 rupee a minute. He worked on it every single day. Do you think it was easy to do that in terms of provision of all those things? We did it all the time. Do you think Abdul Kalam could just, I say, without it, and you think it was not difficult for him? Yes, it was. But he focused on it every single day. So what do? You have anything which is difficult, whether in real life or otherwise, or in relationships, work on that relationships which you need to mend every single day. So when relationships sours between spouses, between people, between parents and children, work on it every single day and you can repair it. There is no relationship which cannot be repaired. And it's up to you really to do it. And I'm telling you, this is going to be extremely important in life because we tend to ditch relationships very superficially, very early in this day and time as compared to the earlier generation. And it's not worth it because again, you have to develop new relationships that need to be done. But if you put a little effort in those relationships which are souring, I promise you, you can repair it. In fact, you can relish it tremendously. So that's extremely important to do it as far as that is concerned. There's another thing which I have learned over a period of time, that it is not skill that is important. It is not skill that is important. It is an effort to learn a skill that is important. So irrespective of any skill that you don't have, if you start working on it, whether through the internet, whether through reading, whether through mentorship, whether through internship, all the skills can be learned. And there is a secret to learning a skill. And I'm going to share that with you. If you want to learn any skill in the world, there's a study by Harvard which is done, which means that 10,000 hours if you spend on a new skill, you will be an expert on that skill. So we can't put 10,000 hours in a new skill that we want to learn if you're doing so many other things, including the subjects which you've done. But there is another study which has been taking place, not by Harvard, but by some other thing, which says that if you spend 45 minutes a day on a new skill, for a period of 30 days on a new skill, focused with full attention, you can learn 20% of that skill in 30 days. So, if you want to do a new skill, it can be done. I didn't think it was true. I thought it was bullshitting. So I wanted to test it out because I didn't believe what I'm sharing with you today. I'm a non-musical person. I have never played musical instrument. My parents' father was a doctor who came up a very hard way in life. He ate meals once a day in his college career. My mother was a housewife, never musical. So I never got into music at all. I'm fond of music and dance and all, but really not instrumental and stuff like that. So I said 4 months ago, I decided to say, can I test myself? And so what I did was, I said I learned the piano. I never touched the piano in my life. And I said, okay, I'll get an organ. And I worked on it, and I now can play the piano, Happy Birthday on piano, with one single hand, and I'm going to do it with 2 hands very soon. So I learned a new skill, which at age 69, which I didn't think. And I proved to myself what I'm telling you. So if you want to pick up skills of any kind whatsoever, this is a new trick which I have learned for myself, and this is a trick I have learned in the last 6 months. So try and use it to pick up any possible skill that you want. You want to pick up a language, French, get into it, get on the internet, get into something which is there, spend 45 minutes a day for 30 days, and you will have 20% of the knowledge in terms of communication in that language. It's something which is very true, what has happened to us, and this is something which I wanted to share with you. It could be useful in your life. So what am I trying to tell you today? What have I tried to communicate to you about my experiences and people who can be successful beyond human imagination? You can use all these ideas and thoughts to make your life into a fantastic thing. And let's take the best example of person who has moved from zero to become a hero in our lifetime. And that is a person who was only a chaiwala. Narendra Modi was only a chaiwala. If you were a chaiwala, what would you aspire for? You'll be a good chaiwala. After that, what do you aspire for? To put up a restaurant. Beyond that, what would you aspire for? Would be to put up a hotel, which would be the maximum aspiration that you could possibly have. But no, the chaiwala did not aspire to be a chaiwala. The chaiwala aspired and became the chief minister of Gujarat. But it did not end over there. What is the next step that he took? And every time he took steps in that direction, it was not that he aspired and dreamt, "Main bach jaunga." Every single day of his life, Mr. Narendra Modi continued to work to improve himself. Today, he does not want to be only the Prime Minister of India. He wants to be a world leader. So he wants to win over Trump. He wants to win over China. He wants to win over the neighbors and still grow. So, he's the same age as mine, 69, and the aspiration and goal is to still aspire to reach further. So what do we learn from a person called Narendra Modi? That if you continue from zero, coming from a poverty-ridden family, with no great education whatsoever, with no resources in your hand, with nothing in your pocket whatsoever, if you have a dream and aspiration which is converted into a goal, and you improve yourself 1% every single day of your life, and continue to move the goalposts higher and higher and higher, learn the skill sets of doing different things every single day of your life, and improve yourself in terms of everything that you're going to do, you will be able to aspire for anything that you want, whether it is becoming President of India like Abdul Kalam, or making a rocket which costs only 12% of the cost of what NASA did, is something you and I can easily achieve if we are passionate, if we are committed, if we have a goal in mind, we move towards that and you will be successful. So I want to congratulate you for having come. You're already leaders because you have entered into the school, the college, and institution, which is the cream de la cream of this entire country. So you're already intellectual. You already reached so much. Are you going to stagnate there and be where you are? Are you going to aspire for a little better in your lives than what you are? Or are you going to aspire for the moon to be one of the greatest persons on earth? And that, and maybe in stars and spars and moon and everywhere else. And there is an obvious opportunity for you to do so, which did not exist in my generation and time to reach whatever position you have. So I wish you the very best of wishes. Congratulations on being already there. I don't know whether anything that I have said will be useful to you. I hope it is. And I wish you that you will always be wonderful. And I shall always remember having met each and every one of you here today and look forward to see you again. If there are any questions, I'll still take it. Thank you so much.
Hi sir.
Yes.
Having so many aspirations, how did you prioritize things?
Oh, difficult, very difficult, especially when my wife wants priority of mine. And today my grandson gets more priority than my wife does. So the priorities keep changing. But what is necessary to do is to see that there are three types of things. One is long-term goals. One term is short-term emergency thing that you need to do. I've got an appendix operation, so I have to go first there because I've got to take it out. So I rush to the hospital. I've fallen down. I had an accident. I had a broken shoulder. So I run to the hospital. So those are immediate. You have to do it. The food you have to eat every day, brushing the teeth you have to do. All essential items. It's the prioritization of long-term which becomes a problem. Where in order to achieve long-term goals, you need to do it daily. And what you need to do there is to pick out those things and say, I will slot 20 minutes a day for this activity, something which I have to do for a long-term goal. So I want to learn a new language. I want to do a new subject. I want to work on technology because I'm a management student, but I don't come from a technology background. Or I come from a technology background, so I need to refine myself in communicating skills. So I take up communicating skills as a subject and skill that I want to improve. But I can't imbibe it quickly because I need to do it. So I spend 15-20 minutes a day, every single day for the next 5 years in order to do it. And I can promise you, I wasn't a good speaker. But last 15 years, 20 years, I've been speaking. And today, I can speak to any number of students. You give me 5,000 students in an auditorium, and I can speak to them and interact with them also. So I have no issues now. But it took me 15 years to pick up that knack of being able to handle that. So short-term, urgent, emergent items, you do immediately. Long-term, short-term, which you need to achieve, and I have to give a lecture tomorrow, so I have to prepare. Long term, that I need to do to create my new project and ideas on it, like we talked about the sewage recycling for the whole city of Mumbai, how to do it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good morning, sir. My name is Nilesh. I
Yeah.
wanted to ask that every successful story that we read, at its core, it has an opportunity which was taken. But at the same time, we see that a lot of people who follow in those footsteps, they end up with bigger losses because they took that opportunity.
Yeah.
So what would be your advice about recognizing when to take an opportunity or when to leave?
There is no successful man who has not failed. If you pick up any successful man in your life, anyone has failed. Everyone has failed. Mahatma Gandhi failed for 30 years before he got independence for India. He did lots of things before he became successful. Narendra Modi failed in so many of the things which he did before he became successful. 3 rockets of Mr. Abdul Kalam failed before he became successful. I did a project in Kharghar where I lost my shirt, so I was there. Mr. Ambani, Reliance, lost a pipeline cost of 5,000 crores, became dry because KG Basin didn't give gas. So it was a big loss that he did. So For every successful man, there is minimum 5 failures and falls. The secret of the successful man is to get up after he has fallen and face the situation again. So, part of falling is learning, part of falling is essential, part of disappointment is essential. And one more thing I must share with you is that you look to other people for your success. That's a problem which we all have. I want my father to find me successful. I want my spouse or girlfriend, boyfriend to find me successful. I want my friends to look at me with success. The answer is yes, we all love that adulation. I love when you got up and clapped for me, thank you very much, and gave me that standing ovation. I'm so grateful to you. But I must have an inner satisfaction that I have spoken so well that irrespective of the response that I got, I will still work towards getting it. So, though I love the adulation that I got, I'm not making the good speech because of the adulation that I will get. That is more important to learn. Once you learn that, yes, take the adulation. If somebody loves you back, wonderful, you love that person, the person loves you back. But even if the person doesn't love you back, you must love that person. How do you love a child? The child doesn't necessarily love you. That's the kind of way you have to have with whatever you do. Once you focus on that kind of thing, yes, you will fall, but you have to get up, get cracking again. So for every successful man of any project, he has fallen 10 times, and if he has not, he's a liar. He's telling you a lie that he has not fallen. He's just covering up the falls. They hide that because they feel shy to show that I fell. They feel shy that I had a broken relationship. They feel shy to say that I did not get good marks in this. They feel shy to say this person is more successful than I am. Oh, how many marks did that person who's staying in your room, how much did she get? Or how many marks did he get? Or what were the scores she got? Oh, she got more than you. Why? How come you didn't get that? That's an issue which really we get worried about. That's not the problem. The problem is we need to see our goals in life, and that is how we really need to do it. And if you can act on that, you'll never have a problem in life. Because you'll fall, you'll get up. You'll fall, you'll get up, and you'll fall and get up and be great and successful because you've improved every day. Yeah.
Good morning, sir.
I can't see you.
So, I'm here again.
Yeah.
Good morning. So, I would love to know your thoughts on dreaming and aspiring individually.
Sorry?
And dreaming and aspiring individually and partnering up with someone having the same mentality and then growing together.
I'm sorry, I'm not catching.
So, as like me having my own dreams, but how to move forward individually, but rather than partnering up with somebody having the same mentality and then growing together.
Oh.
Probably like a business partner on the future leaders.
Okay. So, when you live in social life or in companies or corporate endeavors or you do startups, you normally will have a team. The team could be friends, the team could be people whom you don't know very intimately, but you choose for the purposes of association, and this is something which happens. So you pick up the person because you look at the strength of that person in terms of the beginning of the relationship. And what happens? At the end of it, you're pretty disappointed because there may be certain aspects of that relationship which may not fulfill your mind. And it happens in every marriage. So it's more applicable to marriages than business relationships, where you get disappointments because your expectations are X, Y, Z. So what is important is to see that the skill sets and the technology and stuff is suitable to meet an objective. And after you have that skill set, you have to accommodate all the rest. So we have to learn to accommodate with people if you want to live to achieve that objective. So for example, Mr. Abdul Kalam could choose 4 or 5 or 6 people from outside the team of the institution that he was working for from outside, but he was limited with those people who already existed in his team. And he had to carry forth this team, and there were only 20% or 15% of the people in that team who really worked day and night and night and day and morning and night and Sunday and holidays and Diwali and vacations and Onam and all those factors. However, there were many of them who did not do that work, and this is what happens in life all the time. And we have to understand that that compromise will always take place when you live in a society. I have an expectations from my local corporator or the local MLA or the local MP or my ministers or my chief minister or my prime minister, and he may be successful in A, B, C, D, but he may not be successful in X, Y, Z. My wife may have very good positive vibes in so many things, but my wife may not be conducive to so many things which I like to do. But that's not important. In a business environment, the focus is on ultimately relationships which bring results for the purposes of the company. So it doesn't matter what the rest of it is there. And the enduring in a startup, it's a different thing. In corporate endeavor, it's very different. And we constantly churning people who leave us for better opportunities because they're not happy within it, or you tell them to go because they're. But over a period of time, these kind of rough edges get settled, but it's difficult. Relationships is extremely difficult to do. And unfortunately in India, we don't have the discipline which a good professionally overseas, or people like Japan is probably the most professional relationships in the corporate endeavor that you can see anywhere in the world. We don't have that in India, but it's growing and improving over a period of time. I think that will also move to the next level. But yes, there is a concern there.